Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 23, Devahuti's Lamentation, verse number 56. Neha yat karma dharmaya na viragaya kalpate na tirtha pada sevayai jivan api mrito hi saha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Anyone whose work is not meant to elevate him to religious life, anyone whose religious ritualistic performances do not raise him to renunciation, and anyone situated in renunciation that does not lead him to devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead must be considered dead, although he is breathing. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Devahuti's statement is that since she was attached to living with her husband for sense gratification, which does not lead to liberation from material entanglement, her life was simply a waste of time. Any work one performs that does not lead to the state of religious life is useless activity. Everyone is by nature inclined to some sort of work, and when that work leads one to religious life, and religious life leads one to renunciation, and renunciation leads one to devotional service, one attains the perfection of work. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, any work that does not lead ultimately to the standard of devotional service is a cause of bondage in the material world. Yajnarthat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. Unless one is gradually elevated to the position of devotional service, beginning from his natural activity, he is to be considered a dead body. Work which does not lead one to the understanding of Krishna consciousness is considered useless. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport.
Mother Devahuti, having realized that she lived a life with her husband for sense gratification, and now she has to start afresh her path of self-realization, and she felt that she wasted her life, she wasted her time that was available to her in the association of Kardama Muni for getting liberated. So, she says any work which is not meant to elevate somebody to religious life, then religious life does not lead to renunciation, and renunciation that does not lead to devotion service is not, it's just like you're dead. The soul is in this body, and the soul means, or soul is active means, something for the benefit, those work or those action should benefit the soul somewhere. When a man acts, and if the soul is not benefiting in some way, at least temporarily, moving towards the direction of devotion service by working according to religious principles, etc., then his human life is not utilized, and it is not, it's like a dead body, because the soul is not benefiting. Neither is the soul not benefiting, the soul is not acting also in one sense. Soul is completely a victim of Maya. Any attempt for the soul to elevate itself towards Krishna, towards God, towards religion, is always opposed by Maya. Put this fan off. It is always opposed by Maya. When we work for Krishna, that is called devotional service. When somebody leads a religious life, may not be Krishna conscious. He leads a religious life, all the religious codes of conduct, codes of work, codes of behavior are designed to restrict, regulate one's sense enjoyment. That is a clear purpose of religious principles. So that leads to renunciation. And then that further leads to being situated in the platform of renunciation. He seeks positive rasa or positive or the real, these are all negatives. Sense gratification is negatives for the soul. So it has to give up sense gratification, means it has to regulate. That is where religious codes are there. Because if you leave a man without a religion, then there is no basis for that person to control his senses. He can live like an animal. An animal will simply see what is meant for immediate gratification. An animal has no idea of self-control. Only humans have ideas of self-control. Right, something right here before me, I will not gratify it. In a larger interest, I will not gratify it. Why? My religious code says, no, don't indulge in it. He stays away from it, human being. So he is one step, at least his work is moving him towards his spirit. One step, it is moving him away from the body. But of course, these things, just following the religious principles it's temporary, because you can again fall back into it. But at the same time, that is a necessary exercise that the mind has to go through, because the mind is completely attached to sense gratification of this world. Our goal and ultimate goal of Krishna consciousness, we understand. From the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, we understand is that the spirit soul should be engaged in pure devotional service of the Lord. Lord is the infinite enjoyer. Bhuktaram yajna tapasa. Sarva loka maheshwaram. The entire universe, entire existence, why I am existing, why everybody is existing. Why is everybody existing? What is our understanding according to Krishna consciousness? You ask others why you are existing, they have no answer. They'll say, I exist because I exist. That's the only answer they can give. There is no answer that integrates with the total system. Why I exist? He simply says, I exist because I exist. That's not an answer. Why do you exist? Why everything exists? Why every person exists? Why every system exists in this material world? Why law of karma exists? Why Sukha Dukkha exists? Why the world is governed in this particular way, the material energy? There is only one answer. There may be so many local reasons, because of this, because of this, because of this. But from the descending process of revelation of transcendental knowledge, everything exists for the Lord. And the Lord is not an ordinary person like us. We are also Lord, tiny lords. So everything exists for Him. It means everything exists for Him and His entire, entourage. Even this material world is His entourage, you can say. It's also serving Him. Law of karma is serving Him. Maya is serving Him. Maya putting the jivas into Maya, Maya is serving Him. So why do we exist? There is any reason we exist, any meaningful reason we exist. First understanding, we come to understand that I did not choose to get born in this world. How I got born in this world, I do not know. Why I am growing, I do not know. Why I am dying, I do not know. Basics of my existence, I do not know. Not only I do not know, nobody knows. The whole world which is running, they do not know. It is such a obvious thing that we all do not know, that we all agreed we will not ask that question. But it is a very fundamental question. So nobody asks any question. Why nobody asks? Because nobody knows. So no need to ask. But actually, there is answer. We ask, then we get an answer. That is Athato Brahma Jijnasa. We get the answer. So why do we exist? Now at least as devotees, now we understand why I exist. Because when you preach to karmis, you cannot tell them you exist for Lord's enjoyment. Because his idea of Lord means one fellow is sitting there. Exclusive of you, we sitting there. Overlording you. But that is not the idea of God. Ananda Mayobhyasat. His lording is also part of his Ananda. And that his kind of lording is not the lording of the jivas. Why do the jivas lord? Because they lack power. Is it not? God, who is all powerful, who can generate anything from Him, why would He lord? For power? He won't lord for power. He is lording so that there is churning of Ananda for the jivas, for the Lord, everybody together. In the material world there is lording. He is a Param Ishvara. Not a blade of grass will move without its sanction. By His direction, everything is working. Yes, there is a lording aspect of the Lord. There is a difference between a man who eats for pleasure and a man who eats because he is hungry. Is it not? So in the material world, the understanding of power is what? Of a hungry man, a powerless man. So jivas are all powerless and they want power. Krishna is the source of all power and he is not in want of power, but he uses power to increase, ever expanding. That is the nature of God, ever expanding pleasure of Krishna. So that we know, You cannot preach directly, immediately to a newcomer, because there is a level of envy that comes into it. I am meant for somebody else. I cannot accept this. That ahankara. I don't even know who that fellow is. I am meant for him. Yeah, you have forgotten. You are meant for him. You come from him. You are meant for him. You are all part and parcel of Krishna. Whom you think you are now is not you. You are haunted by somebody else, something else which is not you. We are talking about your real you. Your real you is meant for serving the Lord. When the real you is not serving the Lord, then you are given a duplicate you to roam around in this world. You can go on changing so many eyes. So how nicely, keeping this last fundamental principle of devotional service to Krishna in view, Devahuti is clearly defining what is soulful work, or a work that has any impact on the soul. What is it? What is the kind of renunciation that has any impact on the soul? In other words, what the Vedas, what the scriptures are encouraging, what you should renounce, what you should not renounce, in a regulated manner, how much you should renounce. These are all based on bringing a person to the platform of engaging in devotional service of the Lord. So it's a very gradual process in this material world. That is called the Pravritti Marg. It's a very gradual process of elevation, and it's not a unidirectional elevation. You go, then you fall, then again you have to become religious, again you go, then you may, if you don't fall, you'll go next step. Like this, it goes on like this, chakkar, chakkar, chakkar. Up and down you keep going. Now, Krishna consciousness is such a direct process that we have surpassed, crossed, not surpassed, we have cut short all these processes to engage directly in devotion service of the Lord. By engaging in devotion service of the Lord, gradually renunciation will become a part of, renunciation will come to us. Because to engage in devotional service itself, there is renunciation in it. To that degree, there is anybody who is engaging in the service of the Lord, he is having the fruit of renunciation. He may not be renounced himself, but he is having the benefit of renunciation, because at that particular point of time, he is engaging in Krishna's service and not in his false ego. So there are only two things that will work, two kinds of work we can do. This whole verse is about work. Only two kinds of work that we can do. You can work for your false ego, your duplicate use, or you can work for your real you. And the work for real you is work for pleasing Krishna. Because your real you is not complete. Your real you, when you say I and Krishna, that is complete. The living entity is not complete without Krishna. In fact, all this, the force of this material existence itself, is the living entity trying to seek completeness in the wrong direction. Existential completeness. Something is missing, I want this. I'll feel complete if I get this. If I get this ananda, my ananda will be complete. If I get this knowledge, my knowledge will be complete. If I get this power, my sat will be complete. Our basic instinct is get that sense of completeness. Because we are amshas. Unless we stick to something else, our completeness comes from something outside us, outside the soul. So that outside the soul, that completeness, that outside the soul whom you have to serve is God. Then we will feel complete. But in the material world, the same tendency is there. What is there? To feel complete by clinging on to something outside. So here, when you fall into the material world, you are always thinking, how I can become complete by this? Trying to get more knowledge, more this, more money, more sense objects, feeling that I'll feel complete in all these directions. So here also, in the material world, the living entity is looking outside itself for completeness, but it is looking outside itself into Maya for completeness, and that completeness will never come. There are two basic instincts of the soul. The instinct to feel free and the instinct to feel completeness. Freedom and completeness. This is our nature. Freedom is our nature. These two instincts only are manifesting as lust, manifesting as so many ways. The details of lust, details of sense gratification does not belong to soul at all. It is all prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha. Even sense gratification. If you are enjoying sense gratification, that particular sense gratification, you are not the enjoyer. A false ego is the enjoyer. Very simple. If you take, a man enjoys a woman. Woman enjoys a man. What kind of attraction a man has towards a woman has towards a man. If you go into the specifics, the attraction of the man towards a woman is characteristic of being a man. What is a man? Man ego, male ego, woman like that, woman ego. This is a characteristic. The characteristics of male ego is different, female ego is different. Both are adopted egos. You are neither a male nor female. So the specific attachment, specific desires of a man, specific desires of a woman is not your specific desire at all. Suppose I take you out and put you in a dog's body, you will manifest the specific desires of dog. If I put you in an elephant body, you will generate specific desires of elephant. If you put you in a male body, you will develop specific desires of a male towards a female. If I put you in a female body, then you will adopt the desires or the specific desires of a female. So now whether the specific desires, oh, I want this. When you say, I want this, that is not I who is wanting it. Because the details of that I want this, that specific attachment, these are all in Prakriti. It is not, the soul is not active in this material world. This is the meaning of saying soul is not active. Soul is active in being haunted. The ghost is active. The soul is not active. Soul is not spiritually active. The ghost is active. The ghost is false egos. So I am serving false egos. And in this earthly life, it is so easy to find out that I am not this false ego because it keeps coming and going. Even as our body grows, our false ego is changing. As we move from one society to another society, age also changes, our old desires, false ego, everything is changing. So whose desire I have been chasing? That's a question. Was that my specific desires? No, it's not. That is how detachment comes from specific desires. Specific desires are not your desires. These specific desires are, whether it is a male or a female, the specific desires, or animal, the specific desires are expression of the desire of the soul for freedom and sense of completeness. Originally, the freedom is to engage in freely chosen devotion service to Krishna, and that brings us completeness. Here, as per law of karma, we are trying to do freely chosen work, because everybody wants freedom in this material world. I will do this, I will do that. That freedom is given, but it is perverted use. And this freedom will entangle us. That freedom will always liberate. It always gives liberating experience. When you use freedom for serving Krishna, it gives you liberating experience. When you use freedom in this material world, you get bonded into this material world more and more. So that is why it said that whatever we do, yajnartat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. When we do devotion service for Krishna, Krishna is unlimited enjoyer. That's why these principles we have to understand very clearly. In one form or the other, God is available for every one of us to please Him. This is very important. Even for a materialist, if he follows the principles, at that level he can please God. By following the religious instructions, he is pleasing God. Because it is code of life given by God. But because his desires are not complete, if he wants to fall down, he is allowed to fall down, he falls down. Where is a question of, allowing the karmis to fall down? The Lord allows, devotees who are highly elevated to fall down. That is a degree of free will that the Lord has given to the jivas in this material world. So, devotion service to Krishna in this particular form in which we are engaging is a very rare. It is very elevated. Due to Prabhupada's mercy, we are doing a very elevated work. The benefits of that to the soul is immense, is eternal. Swalpamalpamasya dharmasya trayato mahato bhayat. This little service that we are doing to Krishna, that prevents us from falling down into animal life. That is the biggest bhaya. What is the biggest bhaya for a human being? If understood properly, you lost your human life if you get into animal life. That's why every day, every moment of human life is very important. One should not take for granted. By some mistake, I get into animal body, what happens? An opportunity lost is there. Many times we think, what is wrong with this sense gratification? I want to find out from the sense gratification process itself, what exactly is wrong there. What is really wrong is there, you are losing an opportunity. Just like somebody says, okay, I want to go to a shop, I buy something. And you are focusing on the product. Hey, what is wrong? This is a nice product. I am buying it. But somebody who has got knowledge, for the same price you can get 10 items in another shop. Then this man goes and he buys. He says, I have analyzed this. It's a good product. It's a good product. It's a good product. Yes. Okay, what is the price? You pay and come. Now, is he being intelligent? He's lost an opportunity. With the same money, he could have bought 10 items. Or he could have bought an item which is much more valuable than this item. For the same money. For the same purpose for which he bought this. So many times in our life, we don't see, when we think what is wrong with sense gratification, the first and the most important point, what is wrong with sense gratification for a devotee, the answer is, I am missing an opportunity Human life is rare, I'm missing an opportunity. Every second is ticking from now up to death. I should see that every second of this rare life is utilized. So, this kind of thinking should be there. So, when it comes to sense gratification, always the rational mind, we should not think what is wrong with it or what, oh no, nothing wrong. You're losing something else, that's all. You're losing something else. You're paying the price of a human life for a product of an animal which you can get in the animal life. Any questions? Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I would like to clarify my understanding. Prabhu, here you said in the class that living entity tries to search for completeness in existence, and we have specific desires according to the specific body that we get. So, as a devotee, what should he would also think completeness in his service, that I would require this and this, just like a materialist thinks that I require this, I need to, so that I can have completeness in my existence, in my power. So then even a devotee may think I may require such and such requirements to do devotional service nicely to Krishna. So what is the thin line that distinguishes completeness in service? He may also feel that even for his...
In devotion service, the devotee is focused in serving the Lord. That completeness is provided by the Lord. The devotee does not work for completeness. Completeness is a byproduct of pleasing the Lord. In the material world, we are trying independently how to fulfill my completeness. How to fill my incompleteness. Independently is trying. In the spiritual world, you are naturally situated in completeness. You don't strive for completeness. You are engaged in pleasing the Lord. In devotion, service to the Lord. Serving the Lord, every moment in serving the Lord. So all the resources that you need is provided by the Lord in terms of resources. In terms of all the ananda that is required, that also He provides. In terms of all the knowledge that is required, He will provide. The Lord will provide. Lord will provide through His arrangements. Guru Krishna Kripa. Guru will provide. Internal potency will provide. The whole system takes care.
So means if I, for example, I'll take an example. Suppose if I need a mobile for doing my devotional service nicely. I need a specific mobile to do my devotion. I may also require, deep in my heart, if I have a mobile, I can exist in the devotee community. So now, how do I know that desire is a specific desire towards devotional service, or would that mobile come automatically by the authority process? How do I understand this?
You see, we cannot apply this principle piecemeal here and there. Till we have that basic consciousness of that perspective of Krishna's pleasure in everything, there is an intermediate principle called doing your duty. So, when you have a full perspective from the Krishna conscious point of view, everything that you do gets aligned from that perspective. But we don't have that, we have not developed that consciousness yet. From first principles to derive whether I should do this or not, all those things, you cannot. So there is a whole process by which you are in the association of Vaishnavas, in the society, you have a duty to perform. So if you have a work to perform, you need a mobile. You need a mobile which has got upgraded, you want to upgrade your mobile. Now whether this is Maya's desire or Krishna's, devotional service or it is Maya service. So you are there. Only thing that can, decide that question is you ask. First thing is you do your rational analysis. Sometimes in your rational analysis, immediately you can catch. Simply only one more feature is there in this, from this to that. Out of 100, uses, 100 hours of use, I may not use even, even half an hour I won't use this feature. Why should I change my phone? Right? By rational analysis also you can find out. When it comes to very subtle thing, because we have to use our intelligence, and when it comes to subtle things, sometimes your intelligence cannot differentiate it. It is not based on your use or not use. It's now based on what is inside my desire. How much it is for me, how much it is for. So, therefore, you have to see whether within what is my duty, I'll go and ask my authorities. And the authorities will say yes. Not that the authorities will say yes or no based on some perfect decision. There's no perfect decision in these things. You should not assume that there is a perfect decision whether this phone should come to me or not for devotional service, or it's not fixed, this mobile, from its objective analysis. Either it is now the new phone I want, either it is Maya service or it is Krishna service. In terms of analysis of the features and all those things, it's not that. If you follow the proper thing, the authority, you go to the authority may not even apply his mind. Okay, take it. Next one, no, you take it. Okay, you did your duty, you asked, you got it. But you should be detached. Suppose he says no, you should be detached. The authority also should think sometimes in things. Sometimes if it's a small thing, we cannot waste our time in analyzing whether this devotee needs this or not. Oh, if you need more, Maya is there. No, we live naturally life. Natural life means, Krishna is inspiring us. We don't get into analysis paralysis. We need to do things in a very practical way. So Krishna blesses such things. The spirit is very important. That's why it's the spirit of duty. When you go and ask also, you should, detached way you should ask. That is duty. See, the meaning of duty is what? It's a very big saving grace. The concept of duty, that's what Krishna introduced in the Bhagavad Gita in the beginning itself. That concept of duty is a saving grace, is a solution for many complicated situations even in our life. Because their duty means without attachment you do. I may like, I may not. I don't like, still I will do. I may like, may still not do. That preparedness is there in the idea of a duty. I don't like to do this, no, but for Krishna I have to do it, I'll do it. That's duty. Whereas otherwise, other work is what? You only do what you like and you don't do what you don't like. And your likes and dislikes are never filtered, they are never organized. A well-balanced person over the years, he has cultured his life in such a way, his likes and dislikes are all aligned towards Krishna consciousness. So like all that, his duty will be ultimately all that he likes only. Because that like is equal to pleasing Krishna. But now when likes and dislikes are competing with each other, we should take what is my duty and do it and take a decision on that. Any other question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, well, the soul is adopting a new identity of...
Soul is?
Adopting the identity of serving Krishna. So there is many vocabulary that is involved. Many vocabulary of dealing with Vaishnavas, then associating with deities. So it's a huge vocabulary. So how does one develop this vocabulary, Prabhu? Like giving up the old vocabulary of sense enjoyment and all that. there must be a parallel drawn between old enjoyment and the new enjoyment. So how does one not take up
See,
this?
that is why it is very clear you have to understand. Overnight one cannot become Krishna conscious. Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada uses the word, it is cultured. Culturing means nittle by nittle by nittle it happens. Even you learnt language by culturing, isn't it? At the end of first standard you could not read a book. Only A, B, C, D. You only are building up, then some words, A for apple, B for this, that's all. Slowly you built up. In the same way, our yantra also needs culturing. Our mind needs culturing. So, gradually, by being determined and following the instructions of the Guru, step by step, you will see that, and Paramatma is helping you, and then you are, you get that vocabulary, little by little. And then you have to forget the old vocabulary. It is not only philosophy, it is about emotions also, emotional vocabulary, feeling vocabulary. All this you have to first, vocabulary is just knowing, after that you have to apply that vocabulary in forming sentences, in forming paragraphs, isn't it? In the same way, we have to design our life of devotional service based on what we hear about the spiritual vocabulary, which takes time. Yesterday I explained, we have got time. We're not going to, we got time in the sense, human life, average is given, a long time is given. Some time is given. So nature, God has provided us time also, so that we can culture bhakti in human form of life. So therefore we should utilize, we should value our human form of life, where we have got an opportunity to culture our subtle body, to become a servant of Krishna, to become a pure Vaishnava. And then when our subtle body vibrates in the pure vibrational mode of a servant of Krishna, then your spiritual mind will awaken. After a spiritual mind awakens, then only question of spiritual body comes. First now body is, spiritual senses are stunted. Our spiritual mind goes out of the reality of spiritual world. It gets haunted by, our spiritual mind gets haunted by Maya. And our spiritual mind is following all this Maya by identification. Only by identification, just like seeing a movie, identify. It's not you, because you are not in the spiritual world, you are in the matter world. So matter world is made to appear like spiritual world. So like that. So ultimately, we have to reverse the process. What is the process? Our subtle body is the mind, that imaginative mind that is given, that is an interconnection between our spiritual mind and the matter. That spiritual mind. So that if you spiritualize our mind, our material mind, then it will vibrate in the same frequency as our spiritual mind. And you'll see spiritual mind will awaken. Spiritual mind's tastes will awaken. So this is a process. So continuously we have to engage in devotional service. Again, you see, a pure devotee, his spiritualized mind is driving his senses in service of Krishna, right? Now, our mind is not pure. So then what is the solution? You drive your gross body in service of Krishna. That will purify the subtle body. And when the subtle body is purified, then the reverse, subtle body can control the gross body. It becomes completely spiritualized gross body, free from all vegas, all urges. It becomes free from all the kind of material urges, because the spiritual mind is in control of the body. And then that is awakening our spiritual mind. And that is the process. This is a direct process that we are engaging. So solution is continuously engage in devotion service of the Lord. One service of the Lord, you have to continuously engage. Because you have got two options: to accept Maya or reject Maya. To accept Maya and reject Krishna, or to accept Krishna and to reject Maya. This is two options. Continuously you got a deciding power inside you. The living entity actually only decides. Everything else is in Prakriti. And that deciding is not always freely desired. It's influenced desire. Your decision is influenced by false ego, influenced by Maya. But decider is you. You are deciding. The execution of that desire is taken over by the yantra, through false ego, everything. That is the reason, that is what is said, that prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasya ahankara vimudatma karta aham iti manyate. Even you are thinking that I am engaging in sense gratification. No, it's prakriti is taking it. You are identifying with it, that's all. Prakriti is carrying it over. Like we discussed the other day, you want to stop a sense gratification. Not only throw out the sense gratification, you have to throw out the sense gratifier also. There's a false ego who likes to do that particular, with that specific desire. Pack him together and throw him. Then you will not be haunted. The haunter also should be thrown out. Otherwise, using your free will, you may stop some sense gratification. But the haunter is still there. And the haunter is sitting there and is identifying with you. And is telling, so sad for you. You're missing something, you're missing something. You are incomplete. Till now you used to smoke. How can you live without smoking? You are incomplete without smoking. Without association of that, you are incomplete. The smoker starts talking. Because you created a smoker identity. And it keeps talking. So if you want to stop smoking, don't say stop cigarettes. We should say, very easy way, you should throw the smoker and cigarette out. The ego which enjoys smoking, that fellow should be thrown out with the smoke, with the cigarette. Cigarette I can see, so I can throw out. I can take a cigarette pack and I can throw it out. But when you tell him you throw the smoker, no, I only am smoker. What to throw? Then I only have to throw myself. Yes, you please see. That is a thing. You have to see first that you are not that guy who is enjoying smoking. This is only possible for devotees to apply this. This technique of taking out addiction is only possible for devotees. Because they are chanting Hare Krishna, they can easily see, they know there is a false ego element. It's not me. I have created this sometime, I have fed this into my system, this kind of a ego. Once upon a time I was not smoking at all. And now suddenly a smoker become an integral part of me. At one time I lived complete life without that. And now I am thinking I cannot live without that. जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।